Hi, everybody. Welcome to the PokeBeach.com podcast. My name is John. I go by Water Pokemon Master on the website. And I am joined, as always, by my wonderful friend,
Justin Basil of JustinBasil.com.
And we have quite a bit of news this week, actually. It was a very busy Thursday. What's the set name? I always forget the set names. Journey Together. Yeah, leaked at like 3:30 my time, and then I kept trying to go back to bed, and just news story after news story after news story kept popping up on Thursday. So it
was a full barrage.
Yeah, I would get into bed, close my eyes, and I am not exaggerating. Every single time, like a minute or two into closing my eyes, my phone would go off. I have a Staraptor alert, the Staraptor cry, and it just never got any sleep. Kitty. He's tearing apart paper on the floor. What are you doing? I love him so much. It's been, and then this week in LA we had we're having the fires here. A bunch of hills are on fire and people have lost their homes and ash is raining down from the sky and your eyes are scratchy and it's hard to sleep at night because the smoke gets into the house, and it's been horrible week for people. But on that note, why don't we get into the news, which brings us all happiness because we are all Pokemon fans, and it's a good distraction from the chaos of life. Yes. And that's why we like.
For
that's
collectors and players alike.
That's actually why I was always such a big Pokemon fan when I was little, because I was okay. Maybe it's too much information. I don't know. I was like closeted, so for me, I couldn't really interact with people in a normal way, like people my age, because everybody my age was always, into the opposite sex and, fooling around and whatever. And I couldn't do any of that. But for me, Pokemon was like a nice escape, and I could go into that world and I could socialize with other, kids or teenagers, I guess, over Pokemon. So that's why Pokemon was always like my rock. Like it was always there for me and the fandom. So that's why I like it so much. Anyway, what news should we start with?
That's a great question. Let's see here. Start out with something simple like accessories.
No, that should be on the end. Why don't we start with? Let's just jump into Journey Together. How about that?
Let's journey together and journey together.
So, Journey Together
came here for the news. You got the puns. Sorry, guys.
Journey Together has officially been revealed, featuring the return of Owner's Pokemon, as we have been talking about for many months now. It'll release on March 28th as our SV9 set. Pre-releases will take place from March 15th to March 23rd. No surprise here, the booster packs are all the artwork that is on the Japanese booster pack, but individually. So as usual, we're sharing the same artwork as Japan. The Elite Trainer box has an interesting color scheme. I don't know what that's supposed to be channeling, but looks cool. And then we are getting in ends. Oh, actually, let me first. So here's the Scrafty Yanmega promos we're getting. Yanma and Scraggy for the one-pack blister promos as their pre-evolutions. Ultra Pro portfolios featuring the booster pack artwork as usual. But the Elite Trainer box is going to feature this new Ends Zorua promo that we haven't seen yet in Japan. It's a reprint of the one from the set, but as an illustration rare, showing Ends scratching Zorua's chin, which I love because the attack is scratch. But N is doing the scratching here, not Zorua.
Yeah, it's fun. Oh, I actually noticed it this morning. It's a fun little call in there.
Yeah. And then, so in the US, or in the Americas rather, each booster box of the set is now going to be an enhanced booster box, which will include a copy of an Ends Reshiram illustration rare promo with a Journey Together stamp. We're assuming it's going to be this Ends Reshiram, the one that was revealed in August at Worlds and that's in the set. But it's going to have a Journey Together stamp. Because this is going to be in the booster box, this means box toppers are back, which I don't think we've seen since Gen 3, I think. I think that was the last time we maybe had them.
Do we know that these are the same size as regular cards, and there's not like we had how we had those like
jumbos.
transparent box toppers or the slightly oversized box toppers. You know what I'm talking about?
In the E series, we had the I have some of them. We had the jumbo, Charizards or whatever that came in the, I don't know, what was it, Expedition or Skyridge or something. But no, these are just normal sized promos. It's just going to be an Ends Reshiram with the Journey Together stamp on it. And the Pokemon Center website did not list that the promo would have the stamp on it, and I've seen some confusion about that. But the press release does say that it does. So the Pokemon Center listing just omits that, but all of the Ends Reshiram promos are going to have the Journey Together stamp.
Okay.
The only note I want to say here is that I am still investigating if Europe is going to have a booster box without the promo. There's a little bit of questioning about that, and we're still waiting to hear from the distributors in Europe, which are waiting to hear from Pokemon. So I didn't want to really comment on that yet because I wanted to gather information so that I don't have to keep changing whatever the news is. I just want to get the final word about it and then get that out to people. But there is some questioning if Europe is going to also get a booster box that does not have the promo in it. So far, if you pre-ordered this booster box from the Pokemon Center in the UK, which is the only way to get it in Europe right now, if you're just a regular fan, you will get the Ends Reshiram promo in it because the Pokemon Center website specifically says it's going to be the enhanced booster box. And then, of course, if you're in the Americas, this booster box is the only one that's going to be available through distributors at LGS's, at Best Buy, GameStop. It's only going to be this one. So if you're an American fan, you're okay. If you're in Europe, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on over there. So I'll report back on that once I hear. But there is a question of, is Europe going to get the enhanced booster box at every store just like we are, or are they getting a separate one? Because Pokemon was pretty ambiguous with their wording. It was, or not ambiguous, but it was just confusing. And the people who write,
they do love being confusing.
Yeah,
in their wording.
exactly. We've talked about that before. The people who write the set descriptions over there, I don't think they are TCG fans, and I don't think they always understand what they're writing. So it leads to
it's like the legal department or something. Yeah.
No, I think it's the PR department. Well, they're at least the ones that publish it. So I don't, and I don't fault them. Like, they can't know everything. So, I mean, but they should be, checking in with people who do know to make sure that the wording is correct, but whatever. But anyway, Pokemon sometimes is very confusing with these kinds of things. And then we all get confused. And yeah, like when I first posted this, it was a developing story. And I said, there's going to be an enhanced booster box. And that was based off the North American information because the sell sheet only showed this booster box. So I assumed it was going to be that where everywhere else. I had no reason not to assume that. And then now there's questioning because some of the retailers some of the solicitations went out from the distributors, which don't seem to mention in Ends Reshiram promo. And then the press releases that Pokemon released in their various languages also said that the enhanced booster box would only be available at certain retailers. So I don't know what's happening. But anyway, so just if you're a European fan, I will look into that and hopefully get back to that, or hopefully get back to you on that. But if you're in the US or, Canada, Mexico, you'll be fine. All right.
If you can get a hold of product.
Huh?
If you can get a hold of product.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. If you can get this sold out, I think within I think it disappeared off the Pokemon Center almost instantly. And then I saw some people who follow this a lot closer than I do say it was gone within 2 hours. Felt like it was a lot sooner than that. I was refreshing the Pokemon Center just pretty casually, and I got blocked, and then I went onto a different browser, and it said I don't understand how people order these. I really don't get it. Like you must have to sit there for an hour trying to add it to your cart. I tried just a couple of times and I gave up. I can't even imagine what a little kid has to go through, or what parents who have jobs have to go through, or what you fans who have jobs have to go through. It's just.
Yeah, I know. We had some people in the comments on this article, I think, actually talking about how it was just impossible and how they tried for hours and it just eventually said, yeah, there's nothing available.
Yeah, I really don't understand. I don't know. It's weird. It's like Has the demand really gone up that much in just the past few months where they weren't prepared for the amount of product that people wanted? Like, I don't understand.
I think this might be a scalper seeing the hobby as a viable option again. For a while, they were scared off by Pokemon severely overprinting sets. And then we had a lull of sets that really weren't that scalpable, to put it nicely. And I think now we have a couple back to back that are
what wasn't
are looking juicy.
What wasn't scalpable?
Pretty much the entire second year of Sword and Shield.
Why wasn't it scalpable?
Just not very good hit rates for the most part. The exception of Evolving Skies, that whole year kind of just stank.
Well, they added the A specs to make the cards rare, I think, or the cards became rarer.
Specs are 3 years later.
That's what happened, right? It was the cards became more rare, so that it made them more. It moved the product more.
You're thinking of the second year of. You're thinking of the second year of Scarlet and Violet.
Right.
Talking about the second year of Sword and Shield.
Oh, you're talking about back to the pandemic.
Talking about 3 pandemic times. Yes.
Oh, I see. You're saying that You're saying that You're saying that the people who were scalping way back then are coming back now.
They're coming back.
Because of Surging Sparks, I guess, or the Pikachu?
Surging Sparks is part of it. Prismatic Evolutions is definitely part of it. And Journey Together itself is also part of it. Journey Together has those trainers Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Specifically the illustration rare style cards. Those are the ones that are going to draw people.
But what is bringing the scalpers back? Is it... I mean, Pokemon obviously would have anticipated that Pocket was going to...
Pikachu.
Pikachu?
For Surging Sparks, it's Pikachu. It's literally just Pikachu. The different Pikachu arts. Like the derpy-eyed Pikachu. That one was the one that got them real good for Surging Sparks. And look, if you listen to the last episodes, I'm gonna mock that Pikachu every time.
No, I remember. Yeah, I didn't like it either.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And then for Prismatic Evolutions, like, I mean, figure it out. Like, there are a million things that scalpers want to scalp in that set. That makes sense. And then Journey Together, it's all these trainers Pokemon. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I've also been getting a lot of replies to my tweets from people who just don't seem to understand how these products typically work. And, I have nothing against new people coming into our game. I fully welcome more, I want more fans in our game, obviously, because we all bond together over Pokemon. The more, the merrier. But I'm really getting people who don't seem to even understand, like, the fundamentals of how this works. And I'm wondering, like, are you like an actual fan, or are you only... Because I saw people like talking about like, oh, the Pokemon Center products only have this thing and it makes them more valuable and blah, blah, blah. And I was just getting these like bizarre replies to my tweets. And I'm like, who are these people? Are these people actually interested in Pokemon because, it's Pokemon, or are they looking at it as money? But it's like, it's also like, they seem to be, when I click their accounts, they seem to be normal people. So I don't know if they're just think they're going to make like a couple hundred off scalping things or something. Like I really don't understand it. Maybe that should be something I research more and talk to people about. Maybe, I don't know. It's interesting.
Inside the mind of a Pokemon trading card game scalper.
I should just go to, I have my degree is in journalism as well. I have a dual degree in journalism and film. So maybe I should go down to my local Walmart or whatever and try to find a scalper and be like, sir, why are you doing this? And like, I don't know. And then like, I don't know, interview them and see, I don't know. Anyway, so the next point of this news story was that this is going to be, we're talking about Journey Together. This is going to be the first set the Pokemon prints in Latin American Spanish. So set names, attack names, and Pokedex entries are going to be localized for Latin American fans to reflect better how they speak. So you can see here that the Spain version, the Spain Spanish version of the set is named Juntos de Aventuras. Excuse my Spanish. And the Latin American name is Adventuras Compartidas.
Aventuras compartidas.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So maybe it's just because I speak a version of Latin American Spanish, I guess you could say, that I prefer the Latin American Spanish name, but I think it's just a better name.
Yeah, it is. I was thinking that too, actually, when I saw them. I was trying to compare the cards to see what's different, and Pisadita sin fin. What is that?
Fiend.
Like fiend? Sorry. What is that? Attack? Fury swipes?
Little stamps without end, basically.
What?
Like
without fin.
Stomping without end.
Oh yeah, sin is without. Fin is the pause. I guess, is that what you're saying?
Like, what's the actual word for it in English?
What is this attack name? How did we translate this from Japanese?
I think it was like a continuous stamping or something from Japanese.
Was it? Oh, okay.
I think that's what it was. Let me look. Yeah, like little steps.
Oh, okay.
That was right. Steps was the word I was looking for. It's just stamps, like little steps without end.
Little cat paws. As Kitty is sitting next to me.
Kind of like how, like, I don't know if you're familiar with. Well, you have a cat, you know.
Yeah, he's
like
right here
cats,
doing
like,
this.
When they're getting ready to lay down.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Not making biscuits.
Oh.
But like when they're getting ready to lay down, like how they're like trying to investigate the area before they lay down. So they're like pouncing up and down, trying to figure out where the right spot is. You know what I'm talking about?
Dogs do that too. They turn in circles before they.
Well, dogs do the little circle thing,
Yeah.
but cats do like this thing where they like have to investigate the area where they're going to lay down.
Oh well,
it's weird.
Every night he sleeps with me, and he gets on the bed and he walks all over my body, and then he'll like go onto the dresser and then come back and then lay down. And if I move him, he gets back up, does like the whole routine again, and then lays back down. He wants it his way. Okay, and then so now let me say where I am disappointed, because this set is only going to have 4 trainers. It's going to be Enzoroark EX, Iono's Bellybolt EX, Lily's Clefairy EX, and Hop's Zacian EX. So it's just going to be those 4 trainers again, as like the Japanese set.
That's wild.
And we really expected this to include the Stevens Metagross EX and Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX from those decks, but they ain't here. So
they aren't.
That was very surprising to me. So the set will have over 180 cards in total. That includes the secret rares, but there's only 159 cards in the main set, as we see on the Sprigatito's here.
That seems like a small set for the beginning of year set.
Yeah, that's
like, this is barely bigger than Prismatic Evolutions.
Yeah, I was maybe they're slowing things down a bit. I don't know. I mean, it would be nice. I don't think so. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So it's going to have 4 trainers Pokemon EX, which is just those 4 that I mentioned. More than 40 trainers Pokemon. So we know it's just going to be the ones we've seen so far from Battle Partners. 16 Pokemon EX, 11 illustration rare Pokemon, 6 special illustration rare Pokemon, 3 hyper rare gold etch cards, more than 30 Pokemon and trainer cards with special illustrations. Yeah. So, so it's as I said, our set is going to be based on Japan's Battle Partners, which will contain 100 cards before secret rares. We know there's at least 28 secret rares so far. And then it's going to have the remaining 50-ish new cards from the EX starter deck generations, such as Amoonguss EX, Blaziken EX, and Mimikyu EX. If you remember, the other 40-ish new cards from those decks were already included in our Prismatic Evolution set, such as Pikachu, Tyranitar, and Lugia EX. So we're only getting Battle Partners and the remainders from EX starter deck generations. It's kind of surprising.
That's lackluster. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, so I'm not really that excited about this personally, but hopefully the year will continue to have more trainers Pokemon. Maybe they'll ramp up the amount they include in the future sets. I don't know. Maybe Battle Partners will still have a couple in there that we haven't seen yet. I don't know. But so far it's just looking like, because of the booster pack artwork, it's just going to be N, Iono, Lily, and Hop. So it doesn't look very promising to have more.
I think that's probably right. It's probably just the 4 of them. I don't think they'd dump a trainer in there, like a trainer's or an owner's Pokemon kind of thing, without some sort of representation in an EX form.
Yeah.
And since we do know that we're limited to 4, I think it's fairly safe to say that, it's probably just not in there.
It's so disappointing to me. I was like, I
probably
really
get like... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just repeating myself.
So, I mean, we'll probably still get a couple more trainers Pokemon from the ones we do know we have. I don't think we're going to get any more from Hop. I think we've probably seen all of Hop's stuff. But I could see us seeing some stuff from Lily and from N, because it feels like we haven't seen very much of them yet.
Well, we haven't seen a Lily's.
Ribombi.
Yeah, Ribombi. So we're gonna get Ribombi and excuse me,
Clink.
Cutiefly, and then N. I think we haven't seen Clink, Clank, and Clink Clank because it's in the those collection file sets, or those collection files that are releasing alongside the set have artwork that show more Pokemon on it. But I still think there's room for quite a bit more. Somebody in the comments had kindly put together a list of everything we've seen so far. And
I have one of those running on too.
Including the artwork. But I think what they were saying was that I didn't have time to look into this because I was just getting bombarded with news stories this week. But I think they were saying that there's still room for maybe, I think it was like 20 more Pokemon or something. Or no, it can't be that much. But there was still room for quite a
40
few
more
things.
Pokemon spaces currently because we've definitely seen all the trainers at this point. We've seen all the special energy. So at this point, we're just seeing Pokemon now. It's going to be, we have 40 more slots still.
I see. How many more slots do we have for trainers Pokemon?
Well, I mean, they go in the same slots as all the others.
No,
So it could
but
be regular Pokemon or...
One of the commenters had made a list and said there was still room for a couple more. Not a couple, like
okay,
more
so
than
that's
a couple.
actually an interesting point, and this is something I need to highlight too. I just noticed I have also been busy this week, so I haven't looked into this. For more than 40 trainers Pokemon, that could be a tricky thing because when they did the reveal for battle styles, they're like it's like I don't remember the exact number. It was like 40 battle Pokemon or Pokemon featuring battle styles. They were counting the illustration rares or the equivalent of the illustration rares. They were counting the full arts. Like they were counting all of that in that number.
Yeah.
So they could very well be doing that here, where it's like, oh yeah, you have 5 more and that's it.
Yeah, these set descriptions are, like we said, they're inconsistent and they don't seem to be written by people who
It's like almost like reading tea leaves. Like it's like it could be that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks like a skull. I don't know.
Here are some of the cards we're expecting in our English set. We've seen a couple. We've seen all of these already, and some of them in English already. And then I also took the time to go through the history of the trainers Pokemon. So I want to talk about that. Trainers Pokemon originally debuted in 2000's Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge. They only evolve into each other, so you can't evolve a Misty's Magikarp into a Gyarados or a Misty's Gyarados from a regular Magikarp. They have to be from each other. They also had back then trainers cards that supported those Pokemon like Cerulean City Gym. And I also looked this up. Most sets that have featured trainers Pokemon were purely comprised of them. So this included 2000's Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge, 2001's Pokemon VS or Versus, which was only in Japan, with the the Karen's Umbreon and the Gen 2 gym leaders, which we sadly never got in English. I'm still kind of bitter about that, actually, because those cards were so pretty.
Yeah.
2004's EX Team Magma versus Team Aqua was purely comprised of them, except for a couple of exceptions of promos they had to throw in there, and then that were in Japan that they had to throw in. And then 2015's Double Crisis. So these sets have always had purely trainers Pokemon in them. 2004's EX Team Rocket Returns was the only exception. It had a mix of Rocket's Pokemon, Dark Pokemon, and regular Pokemon. That was a little bit of an exception because of the history of having owners Pokemon or having Dark Pokemon before owners Pokemon were a thing with the Team Rocket set. So I think that's why they did that with that set. And then we had owners Pokemon. And then in Gen 4 and 5, we saw their successors being Pokemon SP in Generation 4 and Team Plasma Pokemon in Gen 5, as you can see here. So they had abbreviations for so this one's name is Rose Raid GL being Gym Leader, Blaziken Facebook, FB for Frontier Brain. And then Dialga. I always say Facebook when I read it. And then Dialga G, Level X, G being Team Galactic. And then in Gen 5, they did Team Plasma Pokemon, which had a plasma watermark in the background of the card and blue borders around the borders of the cards to denote they were plasma cards, because they also had plasma trainers. The TCG is using this mechanic, obviously, to stall for Legends ZA, because there's no new video game content to promote yet this year. And then our next English set, SV10, will release in May. So at this point, we suspect it will combine the cards from the Stevens Metagross EX and Marnie's Grimsnarl EX decks, which are releasing in February, March's Heatwave Arena featuring Cynthia's Garchomp EX, and April's The Glory of Team Rocket featuring Rocket's Mewtwo EX. None of those have been revealed in Japan yet. None of those sets. So the Team Rocket set looks like it's going to be mashed together with these other things, because there certainly won't be enough cards to just do Heatwave Arena and those two decks. So they're going to have to include Team Rocket in that. Just seems kind of messy. Like, what is the theming going to be for that? What are they going to do in English what is that theme going to be? I guess it depends on what Heatwave Arena is, and maybe we're over expecting. Maybe we're giving too much hope that the Glory of Team Rocket is purely going to be like Rocket's Pokemon. Like, maybe it's just going to have like a couple of, I don't know, Rocket's Mewtwo EX, Rocket's Zapdos EX or something, and then the rest are going to be just normal trainers or something. I don't know. But yeah, so far I'm kind of disappointed this year. I know I keep saying it, but it's just, yeah. We'll see how they do. We'll see. Our favorite phrase, we'll see.
We'll see. So I did the math real quick with my Excel, because of course it's in Excel. I do everything in Excel, it seems like. We have currently 23 Pokemon that are owners Pokemon that are not illustration rare or illustration rare promo style set promo. We add 4 onto that if we're adding the illustration rare stuff. So depending on how you count it, it's either 23 or 27 that we've seen so far. So with that in mind, we should see like another 13. And I have a suspicion that's probably counting both the regular arts and the special arts.
You cut out for me. You have a suspicion it's counting what?
Both the regular arts and the special arts.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. It'd be nice if they threw like Ethan's Pichu in there or something, but that I don't think they would do that, because every trainer would probably be represented by one EX. So, and again, the booster pack artwork only shows those 4, so it's probably just going to be them.
Yeah.
And then
I suspect that's the case.
As we talked about before, in June, Japan is also getting a Black Bolt and White Flare set featuring all 156 Unova Pokemon. This may become our special set of 2025 after Prismatic Evolutions. So that's the full lineup of what's coming in Japan. Well, at least it was when I posted this, because we're also going to get to another story.
The next news story.
Another story. Yay. Let's just get to it. So
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, so we also
Mega Brave and Mega Symphony.
Yes, we've discovered Pokemon has published 2 new set trademarks that have always been, every time they publish these under these trademark terms, they're always sets. So anyway, new trademarks for Mega Brave and Mega Symphony have been filed by Pokemon. We usually discover trademarks around 6 to 8 months before their sets release, so we could see these in as early as July, but sometimes, we've talked about before, the trademarks are revealed out of order, so at the earliest they would be July, at the latest they would probably be like August or September. So
do we think there's gonna be a set in July if they do a big double set in June?
We always have sets in July. So yes, there should be. It's usually like.
But we don't usually have double sets in June, though.
Well, but it's probably a special set though. The Black Bolt, and you're talking about Black Bolt and White Flare, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a big double set though.
Yeah,
right?
It is, but it's almost the same size as 151. So, or at least 151 versus 156, just 5 more Pokemon. But we always get a July set, so we should get a set in July. I don't know if it's, again, trademarks are sometimes revealed out of order, so I don't know if it's going to be Mega Brave and Mega Symphony here. Also, I say this in the article, obviously it's what we're all thinking. This is Mega Evolutions, and thus, the start of Legends ZA. TCG sets usually advertise a new game within 2 months of release. So I don't want to go much further and like try to predict when ZA is going to release, but just because we already have a qualifier here of like, oh, we don't exactly know when these sets are going to release because of trademarks being revealed out of order sometimes. But with all of this, I would say it's pretty certain that ZA is going to be a summer-ish release.
Yeah.
Or it could be early fall. But yeah, because if let's say that, okay, I guess I will speculate. Because if these trademarks are for early August, then they could be for a June game release at the latest. But also we did get, actually, if we go to this story that I linked to here, we did get, depending on how you define it, for Legends Arceus or Arceus, we did get so Starbirth featuring Arceus V-Star released on January 14th, 2022 as the first set of the year. 2 weeks later, Legends Arceus released for the Nintendo Switch. So that was a case where the set released almost at the same time as the game, but it depends on your definition, because I know we talked about this back then when I had posted this, that, well, you could argue that Starbirth wasn't really technically a Legends Arceus game because the next sets, Time Gazer and Space Juggler, had, all of the new Pokemon from that game and the settings and whatever. The only thing about the only thing about Starbirth that had anything to do with the game was that Arceus was in it, and it introduced the V-Star cards. So it was kind of like a soft launch sort of thing. So again, it like for that situation, it kind of depends on how you define it, but it was at least within, you could either say 2 weeks or 2 months after the. They're always within, like, for that situation, it was 2 weeks before, and then but if you define it as Time Gazer and Space Juggler, then it was actually, is it 3 months? February, March,
closer
April?
to 3 months.
3 months, okay. So anyway, it's so we can't really speculate too far because we already don't know when these trademarks, the sets for these trademarks are going to release. So guessing the games on top of that is guessing on top of guessing. But anyway, so I
mean, we'll know more fairly soon, I think.
Yeah,
because we're gonna start getting release dates for stuff.
Yeah, whenever they decide to reveal that Switch 2, I guess.
Pokemon Day.
Oh, right. And of course, yeah, February Pokemon Day, of course.
Yeah, it's Pokemon Day.
So just as a refresher, we last saw Mega Evolutions, or the pure mechanic of it, in 2016 during the X and Y era. As you may remember back then, we had fully evolved basic Pokemon. So we had Blastoise EX, which didn't evolve from Squirtle or Wartortle. And then you could evolve it into M Blastoise EX, Mega Blastoise EX. And doing so ended your turn, unless you used one of the Spirit Link item cards that matched that Pokemon, that let you attach it as a tool to that Pokemon to prevent your turn from ending. And then we also got 2 guest appearances by Mega Sableye and Mega Lopunny during the Sun and Moon era, but those weren't the Mega Evolution mechanic. They were just part of the tag team mechanic and thrown in there. So
terrible mechanic.
Yeah, so if the Mega Evolution mechanic comes back, which it probably will, because that's what the next game is about, and the card game is, going to be thirsty to advertise something from the games, it's going to have to change because now we have full evolution lines again: Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise. So is it going to be a stage?
Evolution.
Is it going to be a stage 3? That would be pretty extreme.
Well, I mean, they could make them like Pokemon Break. Like, it's entirely possible they can do Break.
Where they
can make it so that they are effectively still stage 2s.
Mm-hmm.
They could still be stage 2s effectively, where you just have to use like a special kind of rare candy to evolve them.
Yeah.
Like there are all sorts of things you could do.
Yeah,
they could work.
They could do the what was the level X cards? You throw them on there, and it's like an additional thing on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how they manage that. But yeah, it's kind of exciting. I had thought last year when I was thinking about it that Mega Evolutions was going to be the surprise announcement at or not surprised, was going to be the announcement at Worlds last year, but then things kept getting delayed. So then my new theory was that, this was going to be the reveal at Worlds for this year, that we're going to see Mega Evolution cards or whatever. But I don't know if that's going to be the case, because it kind of feels like ZA is going to be a summer-ish release. So
I mean, if it does release like August sometime, which it very well could with the release schedule we're looking at, then maybe it releases alongside the game or close to it.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't reveal that at Worlds. So what would be the card reveal at Worlds? Maybe they would start. Maybe they would start with just like. No, that wouldn't make sense either. I was gonna say like maybe just the new Pokemon and then introduce Mega Evolutions, but.
No, they could start with. They could kind of do the Arceus thing, right, where they reintroduce some stuff people are already familiar with before they touch the new stuff.
So
introduce the mechanic like with Arceus, but then move on to the actual new stuff.
Yeah, so it could be like, the Mega Evolutions come later. Maybe the second set. I don't know, and then that would be the announcement at Worlds. I don't know. Like you said, we'll have a better.
You don't get names like Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia without a Mega Pokemon, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. What am I saying?
I don't think that's going to be a thing.
You are in fact correct. But these could also not be, like I said, they may not be the first sets or first. They may not be the first.
It's true.
This could be the start. This could be the Time Gazer and Space Juggler of the Legends game, where this is the further out one, and then there's a one set ahead of it that just has, I don't know.
I just love how when we get
Zygarde
these trademarks, we get them in kind of clusters. They don't come spread out. It's usually like bundles of them together. You notice that? They come together usually fairly close.
Yeah, they file them kind of at the same time, I guess. Because these could be individual sets too. These may not be dual sets. Also, like Brave. What is Brave and Symphony? Symphony would be like a some kind of singing Pokemon Mega Evolution. What would that be on? Unless it's a new
Meloetta?
one. Mega Meloetta.
If it's a new one, I could see it being Meloetta. I could even see it being like, was it Floette? Like maybe AZ's Floette finally gets a card and some representation. I don't know.
Yeah, because none of these, I'm looking at the picture I threw in the story, none of these Mega Evolutions have to do with singing. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know about Brave, though. Brave is stumping me a little bit more than
Brave could be anything.
Symphonia. Yeah.
Brave could be like Lucario. Brave could be, I don't know. That could be anything. So, yeah, we'll see. There's a lot coming up. You're going from
it's
Eevee.
news. It's cool. We don't know what it is yet.
You're going from Eevee to Owner's Pokemon to Mega Evolutions. Oh boy, I'm already tired. But
it feels like Pokemon's like, please buy my stuff.
Yeah, but I guess like, I don't know. I was never really a fan of Mega Evolutions, to be honest. I always thought they were ugly. What did you think of Mega Evolutions?
So I wasn't active in the game when Mega Evolutions were first revealed. I didn't come back to the game until basically the last 2 years of Sun and Moon. So my introduction to them was when I went back to Pokemon X and played them. And to be honest, I kind of share your opinion. I think most of them are pretty over-designed.
Yeah, well,
but I also think that some of them are... right, but I think also some of them are really cool. Like I like Mega Alakazam, I like Mega Gengar, I like Mega Houndoom, Blastoise, Venusaur. I think they're cool too. I just you also get Pokemon like Mega Aerodactyl and Mega Tyranitar that are a bit much.
Yeah, I don't like Mega Blastoise. I thought they butchered my boy. I hate.
I just like the big cannon. It's like look,
the big cannon that never fired water. In the games, or the cannons that never fired water.
Yeah, fair.
I'm sure they'll
fix
that.
It feels like it feels like it was a really cool idea that was almost intended to like capture the audience of people who loved Digimon.
Really?
Because these. I think so, because it feels like it, or even Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it feels like these were attempts to make Pokemon more cool or more like badass a lot of the time, because that's. like a lot of Pokemon are very cute, if that makes sense. Like even a lot of the stronger Pokemon are cute in a lot of ways. And I think these were supposed to make them tougher and stronger and
I thought
manly.
I thought the whole point of it was for them to be over designed, because it's like when Pokemon evolve, they always have like a new. I mean, they don't always, but like generally, they have like new concepts introduced in the evolution line. Whereas Mega Evolutions are kind of just like bigger or like more detailed, maybe
More specky.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was never a fan of them, but I know a lot of people like them. So
the concept I like a lot. I think some of the designs are lacking, but I think the idea overall is really cool, and I'd like to see them do more of them, which is why I'm so excited for ZA.
Yeah, it's like I always like when Pokemon look like natural, like more animally, and I guess these are just like really over designed for me or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm a layman when it comes to art and design, so I can't even. I am not qualified.
I gotcha.
Right. So what's our next? What do we hit next? Should we?
How about last night's reveals?
Which reveal?
Yeah. What you're about to click on right now.
Oh,
last
Battle
night's
Partners?
reveals.
Oh, the last night's reveals. Yeah. We got more cards from Battle Partners, which Justin Basil translated here.
Yes, I did. That's why I'm a yawning mess.
Yeah. Yeah. You did it pretty quick. It was like I think that was one of the faster ones in recent times. You got it done in like a half hour. It
was about a half. Yeah.
He was in we're in a Discord chat, and he sends me the translations as he goes, and then I edit them and put them into the story. And I don't know what we would do if we didn't have you, Mista, because
you just use your other translators.
No,
well, like I'm the only one.
I think. Well, yeah, now you are, because you beat everybody, so that's why everybody lost their motivation. Because you're good at translating.
I mean, we used to do it together. I remember back when we did the set reveals, and it'd be like three of us working on the set. We'd take different sets of the set, or if we're like a double set reveal.
Yeah,
we would take pieces of it and work on either side.
We would have a Google Doc, and everybody would go through it together and write them, and then I would copy them and put them or edit them and put them into the WordPress article and everything. And now it all falls on your shoulders. So if any of you are want to help translate, feel free to take some of the weight off his shoulders here.
Yeah. You don't need me spending 20 minutes arguing with myself over how I should render an attack name.
Well, it's because you take
what's
pride.
Going on?
You take
what's
pride in how you take pride in how you translate.
Well, I mean, I also try not to screw up because I'm not good at it.
Well, yeah,
I try, but
we pride ourselves on our quality. Sometimes we mess up though.
We try.
I mess up on things. Everybody messes up when when you're doing the constant barrage.
Sometimes not the entire thing gets copied. Yeah, I know, but
when you have a constant barrage of stuff all the time, it's hard. Anyway, so what do we want to talk? Can I first say before we talk about anything? Can I first say this Waylord illustration rare?
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Colorful.
That's all I'm going to say.
He's so rainbow colored and happy.
Beautiful. He's very beautiful. And I thought that was a funny, clever way of fitting Waylord into the card.
That's great.
It's like, I think that's how whales sleep, right? They sleep straight up. I've seen pictures.
Don't have an answer for you, man.
I think they do, actually. I'm going to go on the record and say I think they do. I've seen photos of them. They're like straight up like that underwater when they're sleeping. So cool. I don't think he's sleeping here, but I think maybe that's where the idea came from. And I like the little.
He's gearing up for his hydro pump.
He's getting ready to topple that boat over. But
he's succeeding already.
I would save up money to go to this place where he's chilling here. I would love to see that. Although I think I would be scared of like seeing a giant whale maybe like that. Actually, that would be maybe kind of creepy. Do you ever have like that fear? I know a lot of people have fear of like giant things in the ocean or something, like monsters.
I have no idea. I didn't grow up anywhere near the ocean, so
my nearest
ocean's like 3-4 hours away.
Okay, so what would you like to? What is?
Let's just start with Magmortar. Magmortar is vaguely interesting. Magmortar has the ability Magma Surge. During Pokemon checkup, put 3 more damage counters on your opponent's burned Pokemon. It's on a stage 1, 130 HP fire type. It also has the attack Searing Flame for fire colorless. It does 90 damage. Flip a coin if heads. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. I think it's pretty interesting as a magma. Like the Magma Surge itself is fairly interesting. I don't think the second attack is really something you're that interested in, but the fact that you can set this up turn 1 going second is pretty cool. You just use whatever you feel like in the active spot, maybe Budew or whatever. Yeah, probably not Budew. That'd be a waste. Something in the active spot that can maybe hurt them a little bit, and just throw a couple of these guys down with TM Evolution and burn them with Volcanion, and you got some decent damage right out of the gate, like 80 damage every tick. That seems nasty.
Speaking of Volcanion EX,
Volcanion EX is a basic fire type Pokemon with 220 HP. It has the ability Scorching Steam. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may make your opponent's active Pokemon burned. And then it has Heat Cyclone for fire colorless, which does 160 damage. Move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. So if you're counting the 160 base damage, plus the burn damage, plus the fire damage from 2 Magmortar, because of course you're going to have all that ready and going, it's not bad damage. It's, 240? It's not great damage either, but it's not bad damage. And then, of course, they get the chip damage coming back into your turn. So, I mean, it's that 320? I mean, it could be good. Technically, we'll see. The biggest problem is special conditions always have kind of a little bit of a weakness, just because for the most part you can retreat or switch out of them, or in many cases evolve out of them. So we'll see how this ends up faring against the meta when it releases. It is an interesting Pokemon, and I think with something like Latias EX in the format, where these basic Pokemon can retreat for free, I think it's an interesting pivot Pokemon. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on, if for nothing else than that it might be useful in the future, if not right away. Well, if it isn't Kitty himself,
he was tearing up some papers on the floor while you were talking.
Kitty is interested in Volcanion.
He doesn't like the camera. He's very camera shy, but he's very warm and friendly.
He's so phonogenic, though.
He's very loving. Okay, don't tear up any more papers. We're recording right now.
He says, but why would you put them on the floor if they weren't there to tear up?
Yeah. You ripped out my headphone. I can't hear you. Okay. So
speaking of which, let's look at Wailord. We talked about Wailord a little bit already, but it has this attack called Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump for 4 colorless energy. Does 10 plus damage. This attack does 50 more damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. This is basically Kingdra EX with a lower base damage, and I think a higher attack cost too. It's vaguely interesting. I think it might be worth playing perhaps in Gym Leader Challenge format, where you're limited to single prize basics. This is a option for you to use, especially if you are trying to hide from Weavile. But yeah, not a bad card in that format. I don't know if necessarily we'll see play in Standard, but it's interesting. Inn's Purloin also exists. I don't know how I feel about this card yet. We do know for a fact that there isn't an Inn's Liepard in the set. Yeah, it won't fit.
I kind of like that.
Physically not possible.
I kind of like that they...
So it's just the Purloin.
I kind of like that they're doing that with... that they're having like incomplete evolution lines for these. That I think is cool.
Yeah, I don't know about how I feel about that. But we do have Pilfer for Dark Colorless, which does 20 damage. Your opponent reveals their hand. Put a card you find there on the bottom of their deck. So, yeah. And then Magearna, this is Miltank. I want to say from Lost Thunder, but it might not be Lost Thunder. It has the ability Auto Heal. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, whenever you attach an energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon, heal 90 damage from that Pokemon. So in theory, at least this could be a pivot Pokemon where you prime catcher it up into your active spot with a rescue board on it, and then you attach an energy to the Pokemon that you want to heal up, and then switch back into it and do a bunch of damage. It's vaguely interesting. It's definitely not an auto inclusion in anything, but it's a card worth keeping in mind because it's a possibility that there could be a deck that could actually make good use of it in the future. I like it. I do wish it were Lily's Magearna, but I could see why they don't want to give Lily a bunch of extra support.
Oh, I think they should. Man, yeah. What about its attack?
Its attack is Spike Draw. Draws 2 cards and does 20 damage. There's nothing to write home about. I don't think you're going to use that except if you're opening it and are desperate.
Yeah, I just noticed, Magearna and Volcanion in the same set, just like the movie.
Mm-hmm. We also have Hops Corviknight. Hops Corviknight is a Stage 2 Pokemon that evolves from Hops Corvisquire. It is a Metal-type Pokemon that has 170 HP. For a single colorless energy, you're using the attack Shoot Through, which does 50 damage. This attack also I can't talk anymore. This attack also does 50 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance for benched Pokemon. And then Steel Wing for Oh, man. This is your job to be tongue-tied. Why am I the one doing this?
I'm the one who always gets tongue-tied.
Metal colorless Steel Wing does 150 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 60 less damage from attacks after applying weakness and resistance. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think this Corviknight's very good, which means I'll probably be proven wrong at some point in the future. But it just seems like a lot for not a lot. It's a Stage 2 that is not seeming to offer enough for being a Stage 2. So,
but you also have those. What were the trainers again for Hop? Didn't he have the? He had the Snorlax and that did the more damage. And what else did he have?
Hop's Choice Band, Postwig. Like it can do more damage. It's just you need all of that in order to do what 240 damage. It's
not worth it.
It doesn't seem like it's enough. Maybe I'm missing something. I could be wrong, but I don't feel like the Corviknight's worth it. The Rookidee has really cute art. I'll give it that.
Rookidee. I like how this is one of those evolution lines where the pre-evolutions come later in the set list than
after.
because Corviknight's metal.
Like Fletchinder. Yeah, Fletchinder's another one where it does that.
Yeah.
I also love the Scary Gaze attack, and it's like just Rookidee like staring you down.
I did always think Rookidee was kind of creepy, actually, but I think it's the red eyes.
Yeah.
All right, and then
we have some interesting trainer cards. Super Potion comes back to the standard format since its last print in XY Evolutions. No. How long ago was XY Evolutions? Do you remember that?
2000.
You're better about that.
15, 16.
So 10ish years.
Yeah.
Since it was last in standard, last printed in standard. It's been a minute.
Here, you talk. I'll look it up.
I can't remember. I don't know when XY Evolutions rotated, but it would have been around the time I came back to the game, and I came back to the game around Forbidden Light's pre-release.
Released in November 2016.
So 9ish years, and it would have rotated about six or so years ago. 7. It's probably 7 years ago. Still a long time ago. So a Super Potion is an item card that says heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon. If you do, discard an energy attached to that Pokemon. This is a tool very much to get your Pokemon out of two-shot range. So if someone's trying to two-shot your Pokemon, you Super Potion them, make them miss that two-shot.
He said,
in other words, it's going to be a niche.
He said it's a tool, as in it's a tool you can use, not a tool card.
Yes, it's not a tool. It's not a Pokemon tool card. It's a tool in the sense that you are a player and you have tools on your belt. Yes, and then we have Hop's Bag.
Why does Hop have a bag?
Also, because he needs something to carry all of his buddy Poffins in. Hop's Bag says search your deck for up to 2 basic Hops Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Then shuffle your deck. Oh look, my fluffy ball has decided to join it. Yep. Hop's Bag is good. There's no denying Hop's Bag is good. It's Buddy Poffin specifically for Hop's Pokemon. It's going to be good. I think it's definitely worth including if you're building the Hop archetype. Iris's Fighting Spirit says discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand.
How do you feel about that?
I want to like this card a lot, and I think it's decent. I don't know how much play it's going to see unless Professor's Research rotates. If Professor's Research rotates, and it's entirely possible that it could, I doubt that it will, but if it could, theoretically, this I think could see play. Because you would, at the same time, Ina would probably rotate also. So you would basically have this as the big draw option. Again, I strongly doubt it will happen, but it's possible, theoretically. And then we have Inn's Castle, which is our last reveal from last night. Each Inn's Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's, has no retreat cost. This is a stadium card that just gives Inn's Pokemon free retreat, which I think is pretty nifty. So yeah. I think there's some good reveals. As a player, there's stuff to be excited about. Obviously, as a collector or somebody who's more interested just in the trainer's Pokemon, there's definitely a bit of a letdown here. I can definitely see the letdown now. But yeah.
Yeah.
There's cool stuff for players, at least.
I hope the next, like I said, I hope the next sets have more of them. All right. And then we had, what other battle partners? So we had the Tyranitar line. We had Ruffian. Hold on. I'm going to open these new tabs.
Yeah.
Metagross. Okay. So Tyranitar line.
So Tyranitar, we'll look at the Tyranitar itself. It has the ability Daunting Gaze. While this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand. I think that's pretty good. It's not as good as, say, my pal Vileplume, where it doesn't have to be in the active spot. It just locks out everybody's items. But it's something. And then you have Crackling Stomp for Dark Colorless, which does 150 damage. Discard the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. Damage output is a little for this, to be frank, and I don't think locking them out of item cards in the active spot is really worth having this in the active spot. Even if it does have 190 HP, it is still a stage 2 Pokemon. So it's one of those cards where it could find its niche, but it probably won't.
The art's cool.
The art is cool, although I just have this feeling that, like, and maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like Tyranitar is one of those Pokemon where, like, half of its cards all look the same. You know what I mean?
Well, I know
like
what
they
you
all
mean,
have
but
that same vibe.
Well, because it's cool, so they always give it cool.
But they do it like the same exact way.
They should make a derpy Tyranitar, like Godzilla's, like Godzilla's son. Do you remember that character? People make fun of Godzilla's son. He's like a derpier. Anyway.
Just give it to Kamiya. Like, let Kamiya do the artwork for it. It'll be fine. It'll look derpy and it'll look different.
Yeah. All right. Now we have Ruffian.
Ruffian is a supporter card. It says choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, discard a Pokemon tool, and a special energy from that Pokemon.
You just get
this is
roughed up.
Tool hate, I guess. We are about to lose Lost Vacuum, but Lost Vacuum is an item card, and this is decidedly not an item card, which makes this worse for tool removal. You're gonna kind of probably lean more into Jamming Tower, which is a stadium card, so you can still use a supporter card during your turn. But this is an option, theoretically. And if we get to a point where special energy become really popular again, this could definitely be useful too. I think they've held back very much with the special energy cards because of Lugia. And because of that, there hasn't been anything especially interesting. And the little we did have that was interesting, like Double Turbo Energy, will be rotating as this becomes legal for tournament play. Metagross is fun. It's a fun card. You have Rack Down for a single Psychic Energy that does 60 damage. And this is a Stage 2 again, if you are unfamiliar. It's a Psychic Pokemon that has 170 HP. And then for Double Psychic, you have Joint Beam. It does 130 plus damage. If Beldum and Matang are on the bench, this attack does 150 more damage. So for 2 Psychic Energy, you could be doing 280 if you have both Beldum and Matang on your bench.
Kind of.
It's asking a lot, I think. It's not necessarily a lot in that it's a lot of things, but it's a lot in that it's very specific things that can be a little tricky to set up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it for casual play. I think it'd be really fun for like a beginner deck. I don't know how much play it'll see in standard or other constructed formats.
I'm kind of surprised. I don't really like this artwork that much, even though it's my favorite artist, Mitsuhiro Arita.
I think it's fine. It's very.
It's fine, but it's
smooth.
It's not a.
Is the best way I can describe it. It's
just kind of
smooth. Yeah, it's very to the point.
I know he can do better than that. All right, and then what is our?
Shall we mock Ultra Pro? I would love to mock Ultra Pro.
Oh, sorry, I already. We'll mock them in a second. Here's the new Battle Partners Pokemon Center TCG accessories releasing on January 24th. It's just card sleeves, deck boxes, and playing mats with pretty cool artwork.
Those lily sleeves are adorable.
Yeah, very pretty artwork.
Clefairy.
And then we have the Iono play mat, which is really nice, actually. Even though I don't really like her.
I just don't like the zones on playmats.
Oh, yeah.
If they didn't do the zones on it, I would like it more.
But then, like, people would steal the artwork or something. I don't know. Well, I guess they still could. And then we had this Furret.
That's adorable, too.
Card sleeves, Mew. Charmander.
I'm curious because these are all coming out with. They're coming out with battle partners, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder, like, why would they print this art, for example, with all the A-specs on it, when, as far as I can tell, A-specs are done.
Well, they're saying goodbye
as of this set.
They're saying bye-bye.
I guess, but then like Mew, like, do you think Mew is actually going to be in the set?
No, I don't think so. They don't always. They're not always. They're not always.
They usually are though.
Also, I might be. I think that these two were releasing a week earlier. I think these last two sleeves, the A-Spec one and the Charmander Dreepy Pidgey, are releasing at their Pokemon card gyms first. So I think there's some player significance to these because those are more player centric events.
I do like how the A-Spec one almost reminds me of like Diablo 1 item or icon style for all your items in your inventory.
I have no idea.
I don't know if anyone else in our audience is old enough to get that reference and also played Diablo 1, but maybe.
Not me. I only played Pokemon and Nintendo, and that was it. I wasn't. We didn't have.
I grew up on Pokemon and Blizzard pretty much.
Blizzard.
And Blizzard has defecated in its bed. So.
I think Blizzard's located here in Irvine, isn't it? Here in SoCal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're not doing well.
They kind of forgot what made them a loved company, and a huge chunk of their talent has left the game or has left their company.
What was their big game again? Sorry, I interrupted you.
They've had several. So they have Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, and those three were like their prime games. They also introduced Overwatch, which obviously did fairly well. But around the release of I would say a little after StarCraft 2's release, like once they've kind of finished the games, like the expansion packs for StarCraft 2, they just kind of forgot how to make games. It feels like Diablo 4 is fine, like it's functionally okay, but it just doesn't have the soul that Blizzard games used to have.
Yeah, when I don't
know how to describe it.
When I only knew about
who didn't play Blizzard games.
I only knew about Blizzard because I went to UC Irvine, and which is where they're located. And I remember back then they were pretty popular. People would say that, but I guess they've gone downhill.
Yeah, even Diablo 3. In fact, to a bigger set, Diablo 3 just lacked the Blizzard soul. It's really been a while since the games have had what Blizzard used to be in them. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the audience, maybe a couple of people in the audience will understand what I'm trying to say. It just they aren't themselves anymore, and you can kind of feel it in all their modern titles.
Well, Pokemon has that problem too sometimes, where people say they've lost, they've lost the original Pokemon spirit. things like that. But
Well, at least I don't agree with him on that. I think they still do, but obviously not everyone agrees. So,
all right, you wanted to bash Ultra Pro, so okay.
Yes, let's bash Ultra Pro.
Here's Ultra Pro will be releasing new lines of Charmander and Pikachu accessories this year. We don't know the release dates or pricing yet. This will be their second Charmander line and at least their third Pikachu line. But this Charmander line I thought looked pretty interesting. I like they show the Japanese name for Charmander on there. I thought it was pretty good. I think they actually look pretty cool. I wish they would. They've
done worse. I'll give them that.
I wish this would have a Squirtle version. Maybe they'll do one. Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that the Pokemon Company International is only allowed to provide certain assets to these third-party companies, so they just have to do with it what they can. It's not really their fault. It's just I suspect that Creatures is the ones who approve. Creatures is the one that approves all the artwork for things, and they're probably overwhelmed doing that. So I don't think that TPCI wants to get a third-party company involved with Creatures approving all the artwork all the time and all these other third-party companies. So it's just like the Pokemon brand just gives them artwork, gives TPCI artwork and says, here, use this artwork on your Pokemon Center accessories, the corporate artwork they have. Here, use the Ken Sugimori artwork for the Ultra Pro accessories, and then just call it a day. So I suspect that's what's happening, but I don't know. And then here's their Pikachu line, which this time the Pikachu is zoomed in. It's a close-up on its face. Like, wow. So cool. Yeah, I knew.
So art, much wow.
Yeah, I knew when this one was revealed, people were gonna. Yeah. Even it's even kind of like they could have just like scooted it up just a little bit, so it wasn't like, I don't know. Even the framing of it's a little weird, in my opinion. But hey, it's cool that kids have these accessories that they can get on shelves, because adults certainly don't want them and aren't going to scalp them. So hey, at least kids can throw their cards into some accessories.
Actually, you know what?
Assuming the kids can get the cards.
Scalpers. This is a message from Justin Basil, and PokeBeach can stand it if he wants. You are allowed to scalp these. You can buy every single one of these off the shelves, and you can send Ultra Pro and TPCI a message that this is all you want.
Oh.
And you don't want to touch any cards ever again.
Oh.
You just desperately want Ultra Pro merchandise. That's all you want as scalpers. Because you'll make so much money reselling all this crap. I mean, this stuff.
You think Pokemon then will start pumping out more of these?
I don't know. For the record, if you're new to the game, I am being sarcastic.
I think that was pretty obvious. Although sometimes like I get it. It's like I have a really bad joke tone, actually. Okay, maybe it was. Sometimes things aren't obvious because I have a really bad joke tone. Like I just talk normally when I'm telling a joke, and people think I'm like dead serious, and then I have to tell them no, it was a joke, and then they're like, "Oh, you're just saying that now because I was offended." I'm like, "No, it really was a joke." But I have a bad joke tone.
I can have that problem too. I have very deadpan delivery a lot of times.
That's me. Yeah,
I know. People have experienced it more than once on the podcast and have been like, dude, he's kind of a jerk. I'm like, no, I'm being funny.
No, people say that I guess sometimes because we argue or disagree or whatever, but it's like we're just, these are just talking points. Like we're not attacking each other. We're just talking about we're really close friends. Like we've been to, we went to nationals together and hung out, and we've known each other for years. So, I mean, I guess like it's funny because even when I post things just to my personal social media stuff, like people will. I think it's sad. Like this country has kind of been programmed to be like, oh, if you disagree on things, you must hate each other, or it's like you must be opposed to each other. And it just sucks because like I don't like how rhetoric has devolved in that way. where you're not allowed to just disagree with each other. Like it has to be you have to take it to the next level. Oh, you must hate each other. You hate each other. Or even like when you disagree with somebody, they're like, "Oh, why do you hate me?" It's like, "I don't hate you. I'm just disagreeing with your point. I'm not attacking you as a person." But that's
we disagree with
culture,
enthusiasm. That's how I like to put it. We disagree with enthusiasm, and sometimes maybe that's off-putting to people. But I don't know. I think I don't know, because like you and I both want to come at an argument with logic and with reason.
So we said it at the same time.
Exactly. And like we come at it with the same way, but sometimes we're not on the same side, and
and
you're wrong because
he's always on the wrong side, and I'm on the right side.
Oh yeah, sure. That's how that totally is gonna work. He just doesn't realize that he's wrong yet. It's fine. He'll get there.
That's the sad state of affairs in this country today, or even other countries. You just can't disagree anymore without people. Anyway, all right. So, actually, speaking of his countries, let's talk about how do you pronounce this? Celio.
Mm-hmm.
So French.
Well, Celio for Pokemon.
Yeah, I know it's Celio for Pokemon, but I don't know how to. Is it cello maybe? And I don't know. The French retailer Celio has released a new collaboration with Pokemon, a new Pokemon TCG clothing and accessories line. Their stores are in Europe, Asia, South America, and Africa. They are not in the United States. However, TPCI last year brought some of their clothing collaborations to the Pokemon Center, the online Pokemon Center. So it is within the realm of possibility that we could get these items, or some of them, maybe. It's just a possibility, but we don't know. If they did release them, as we're about to see, they might have to change some of the imagery because it's in French. Like this Charizard EX blanket.
I kind of like that Charizard card, not going to lie.
The blanket?
Kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. As like a little novelty item.
I like Pokemon Center has some really good blankets, actually. I have like maybe 6 of them. Kitty likes to sit on them. I put him on the furniture and he sits on the blankets rather than the furniture. It's like anyway. Then they have this black bag with 3 card pockets here. You could show off your favorite card, and I don't know how they are not going to get bent up and damaged, but
they'll get bent up and damaged.
You can do that if you want.
You can get your favorite cards bent up and damaged.
Yeah.
Just stick them in these holes.
You can wear these socks, which are the original 6 TCG types plus a Pokeball. Those are pretty cool. But I never like getting these socks. Always wear out, so I always feel bad wearing like these kind of socks because I'm like, they're just gonna get damaged. But
yeah, and I'm hard on socks, so
my socks always get torn up because I'm always doing things around the house and outside and stuff. And anyway, is this Charizard EX hoodie with a fire energy on the front and a Charizard EX card slapped on the back. I really do not like that.
That's just not good. I don't like that.
That is really tacky.
Yeah, it looks awful.
Yeah, but the front, I like the fire energy, kind of.
The front's fine. It's like minimalistic. It's okay.
Yeah, but the
back is bad.
That's it. I don't know what the French fashion sense is over there, but I don't know about that.
Like, I need to have Charizard on my shirt.
Oui.
This Charmander, like, why?
This is also kind of weird. And then this one, you have to like,
it's just so
like kind of squint to see what it even is. But
this looks to me like one of those sites that have just like stolen artwork, and they just like slap it onto something so they can sell it. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It's weird. I don't like that. Same with the Dragonite EX shirt. This one,
that looks a little better.
They removed the background, I guess, but
some effort into it, kind of.
This is like this feels like the kind of clothing they set when they do those like I've seen videos on YouTube, or maybe it was ABC News or something, where they set up like this high-end shop and they put like these really cheap items in them, and then they invite these influencers to come check them out, and they're all like, "Oh, I would pay $1,000 for this. Oh yes, I would. I would." And it's just like, "Oh, these shoes, these items, they come from what is it? Ross,
Dollar Tree,
yeah, something like that." Yeah. This kind of feels like I can feel like these really fancy influencer types coming in going, "Oh yes, this is wonderful. This is beautiful art. I'm going to wear this, and all my, minions are going to buy it." I don't know.
Like they could have cropped out all of the text on there and given Dragonite like a cloud shape for its arts, like for the art part, and made it like a cloud shape, and that would have already been an improvement on what they have.
But then you wouldn't know it's a card game product because they're trying to promote the card.
I don't care.
Game.
It would look better
Because these are basically walking advertisements, aren't they? For like little kids, maybe. I don't know.
Sure. I don't like the way they look.
I like this one. This one I really like. This zip up hoodie with the types on it. I really like this one.
Bad.
I would totally get this.
Nice and simple. Like if it were reasonably priced, like $50-$60 probably would be reasonable.
TPCI, if you're
but
listening,
it's probably not $50-$60.
If you're listening to this and you put this on the Pokemon Center, I will buy it. Also, be cool if it came in other
you need
colors.
You need to make one big enough for me because I'm too big for a lot of stuff. It seems like
I'm too small for a lot of stuff, actually. And then they have this black sweatshirt with a card pocket, so you can slip your favorite card into that and spill ketchup on it. And then they have a beanie with these not cards, but they're patches. So these are not real cards, but they're card patches you can slap onto the beanie, I guess. Zapdos EX, Terra Gyarados EX, Mew EX, Charizard EX, and Pikachu EX. And they come in a cool little box. French brand, however you pronounce it, has no relation to the Pokemon character Celio.
That we know of. Maybe Celio is secretly their daddy.
It seems like a wasted opportunity not to throw him on the card, but anyway.
I think you're right. But I think a lot of Pokemon TCG fans today wouldn't even know who he is. They'd be like, "Oh, you mean like the YouTuber?"
Yeah, they wouldn't.
You mean the YouTuber?
That would not. That would not sell well.
No.
All right, and then we have a new Pocket event that's now live. You can get Charmander and Squirtle cards. I'm sure you all, if you are even playing Pocket, you have already done this, so I don't even know. We don't even need to go over this, but you get pretty cool Blastoise and Gary /blue/green accessories here with cool artwork.
The artwork is cool. I wish they would take that artwork they have for Blue and Blastoise and make it into like a trainer card for the actual TCG.
Yeah, but they have to give them something that's exclusive.
No, anyway,
have you been playing Pocket?
I have. I still play it.
I kind of slowed down. I didn't really open it this past week or so. I did do maybe one wonder pick for these once, but that was about it. I haven't really been opening it lately. I think I said this last week. I'm curious to see how long the app will maintain its momentum. I need to actually follow up on that and see what the stats are now. If the bar graph of downloads has gone down or anything, or other indications of it, because I'm sure that a lot of people have.
Tournament sizes probably will reflect it too.
Yeah. All right, and then we have our standard format rotation announcement, which was very predictable. We knew this was
exactly what we expected. Right down to the date. Yep.
Yeah. This is no surprise at all. So standard format will rotate on April 11th, which is the same day that Journey Together becomes legal. All F cards will rotate out. So this means we're losing cards from March 2022's Brilliant Stars through November 2022's Silver Tempest. You can see a list of the important cards we'll lose on Justin Basil's website. He has it all here in a handy-dandy guide, whereas I only have 6 of them.
Highlights.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no changes were announced to the expanded format. This is the same thing I said last year. The format has been neglected by TPCI. Organizers haven't even been able to sanction premier events under expanded since before COVID. So TPCI has dropped support for that, as we have talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. And we argued about it a couple weeks ago when we were talking about expanded.
But chicken and egg.
They just haven't bothered to even try.
Chicken and egg. You were saying that because they're not supporting it, there's no interest in it. And then I was saying, well, I don't think many players are interested in it, which is why they're not supporting it. And so we just went in circles about that. And then our last news story, which I should have gone over when we were talking about Journey Together, is that there is going to be everybody's favorite character, a Hops Zacian EX box releasing on March 28th, the same day that Journey Together releases, Retail for $21.99. Come with a Hops Zacian EX promo, a jumbo version of the same card. 2 foil cards of Hops Wooloo and Hops Dub Wool, which will be from the set directly, but printed on Cosmos holofoil paper. A photo sticker, 4 booster packs, and a code card, again for $21.99. We had talked about this product a couple weeks ago. We didn't know it was going to have Hops Zacian EX at the time, but this was one of those products that had a new type of item in it that we talked about, this being a photo sticker. I'm not quite sure yet what that is, so they did not reveal the product image, which I'm assuming is because the Hops Zacian EX might be a alternate art card that hasn't been revealed in Japan yet. So we'll see.
Possibly.
But yeah, it's Hops Wooloo, Dub Wool, and Zacian EX. And
I mean, it's a good combo. Double is very playable. Zacian's not bad either.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but it's Hop. Well, I guess this is an example of like, well, collectors might be interested in Hop, and then players will, want these cards. Maybe,
Actually, I think this might be a case where players are going to be more interested in Hop than collectors because Hop is so playable, whereas a lot of collectors aren't super in love with Hop. Like, as my collector / video game fan side of me just doesn't care for Hop at all. I know Hop has his fans, but like, he is the least interesting trainer.
You cut out for me, but I'm assuming
he's the least interesting trainer for me.
Yeah, he is kind of boring. But I think
he's so boring. Yeah.
Was he the one in the anime? I think he had. Yeah, he did have a scene where he was crying after he lost or something, and then people felt really sorry for him. That was during whatever.
I mean, he lost in the video games too, over and over again.
But in the anime, they like played it up more, so it was you felt bad for him because he tried. I think that's why
in the games too. Like at one point, I know, ditches basically his whole team.
Yeah. But in the anime, they like dramatized it more. Like you felt more connected to him. I don't know. At least I did.
Yeah, he's not my favorite character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like him. I want to miss these products. I want to miss these products.
I want Erica, but we can't all have what we want. So
yeah. All right, that's it for the week. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. What's coming up this week? We're going to have the official reveal of Journey Together, right?
Full reveal for Battle Styles. Battle Partners.
Battle Partners.
Styles.
Battle Styles, Battle Partners.
We're going back in time.
Shining Treasures, EX.
Yeah, going back in time. Yeah. Full reveal for Battle Partners.
Jungle, Southern Islands. You can mix them, put them all into a blender and see what comes out. But yeah. Diamond and Pearl sets, actually, they had the worst names. It was like Diamond and Pearl, Secret Wonders, Mysterious Treasures, Great Encounters. That was my favorite name. Great Encounters. Imagine that for a set.
Great Encounters had some good cards in it, though.
But a stupid name.
I'm going to talk about that Clay doll, because that Clay doll.
Yeah, I remember I was playing Clay doll even back then. When I was active in the
that Clay doll was so
tournament
good.
Scene.
I played the Eternal format. You saw it when you were in the tournament at NAIC.
Yeah.
Clay dolls everywhere. Clay doll's so good.
Oh, NAIC. I keep calling it Nationals. In the old back then, it was called Nationals back then.
Back in my day.
So I think this week we'll get the full reveal of this coming week we'll get the full reveal of Battle Partners, and what else is that? I'm trying to think.
I think that might be it.
Yeah, that might be it. We'll see. Maybe we'll get McDonald's news. I don't know. So yeah. All right. Again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And is that all we have to talk about? Oh, what should they comment? How about
Clay doll?
Okay, Clay doll. That's good. I was gonna go Poly World. Clay doll sounds good. All right. We will see you all next week. If you're in SoCal, stay safe. Stay inside. If you're going out in the car,
stay inside within reason. If it's on fire, get out. Use the recirculation thing in your car. Wear a mask if you go outside. Stay safe. And we should come up with a saying that we say at the end of each episode. It should be some kind of spiritual saying. Like, what should we say? We should say. Spend time with your loved ones, and remember, Pokemon is all about the community. So go out to your league,
Go to I don't know what to say.
They don't have a cheese Pokemon yet, so I can't call that any specific cheese Pokemon.
But they have a sappy Pokemon, Heracross, so it could be sappy. All right. We'll see you all next week. Have a good week. Adios.
Have a good one.